Hello everyone. Today we're going to check gerunds. Now, gerunds could be a concept that's a little new for most people or a little bit unusual, but don't worry. It's very simple actually. Before we check gerunds, let's start first with these sentences here. My favorite dish is pizza. Pizza is my favorite dish. I make pizza every weekend. I worry about the flavor, so I follow my grandma's recipe. In all of these cases, we are talking about two things. We're talking about pizza, and we're talking about the flavor of the pizza. So you see, in all of these different situations, we're talking about things. So that's essentially what they are. Okay, they are things. They are something. And when you talk about something, that something is a noun. My favorite dish is pizza. That's something. Okay, my favorite food is pizza. I make pizza every weekend. What do? What do you make? You make pizza every weekend. So you see, in all of these cases, the words in color blue are something. They are an object. In this case, a tangible object, an object that exists in physical reality. But let's think about activities now. My favorite activity is singing. My favorite activity is singing. Or I can also say it the other way around. I could say, singing is my favorite activity. So you see, you have both. I like singing every weekend. That's what I do. I like this activity, the activity of singing every weekend. I worry about singing well, so I practice every weekend. So that's what a gerund essentially is. Okay? Now, structurally, the gerund is just the verb in the ing form. My favorite activity is singing. Singing is my favorite activity. I like singing. I worry about singing. So in all of these cases, the gerund is the verb in form of ing. However, there is a very big difference, okay? There is a very big difference in this case. The difference is the use and the meaning. When you talk about something, in this case, we use gerunds. But in this case, the something is either the concept of the activity or the action as a noun. So in this case, my favorite activity is singing. I am mentioning that my favorite activity is this concept, this idea, this activity as a concept, the concept of singing. Singing is my favorite activity. So see, importantly here, this is not the present continuous, because I am not saying that my favorite activity is doing this action, singing. That doesn't make sense. In this case, I am just mentioning that my favorite activity is singing. In this case, the verb is singing. That's it. So in general, gerunds are that. We use gerunds to talk about activities or actions. Okay, when you want to mention the action, not when you do the action. That's important. Not when you do the action. For example, when I say, I like singing every weekend, I am not doing that action in this moment. It is just the idea of doing the action. So remember that the gerund is when you talk about the activity, not when you do the activity. Okay, when you talk about the activity, not when you do the activity. Now, as the gerunds have different positions, they can function in different places. So in this case, I can use, for example, the gerund as a subject, as part of the subject. For example, singing is my favorite activity. That's what I like to do. I like singing. Studying online is very convenient. You see, right now in this moment, probably some of you are doing that. But that's what you do. Studying online is very convenient. What is convenient? studying online. Using online practices helps students who don't have books. There's a lot of internet material you can use to study. So using online practices helps students. Working from home allows a person to work in comfort. Okay, a lot of people are working in a remote fashion nowadays. So working from home permits a person to work in comfort. Now remember that if you want, you can also put some possessives, the possessive adjectives with the gerunds. Okay, if you want to be more specific. It's not just a general action, it's the action of a specific person. For example, your commenting doesn't help us finish faster. What's the problem here? That your comments are not helping. So the action of you of commenting doesn't help us. My using of language has improved since last year. My using of language. It's not just using of language in general. It's my using of language. Our studying online is very convenient. In all of these cases, as you see, we are using the gerund as the subject. It goes before the verb. And usually, the verb in sentences where you have the gerund as a subject is going to be either the verb to be or a verb that is stative. Okay, it's not an action verb. This is usually stative. But it's not necessarily a rule. Maybe there is an example where you can find something like that. And now the other case where you can use gerunds. You can use gerunds after prepositions. Generally, we can use any noun after a preposition. Okay? But in these cases, we're going to use gerunds. Okay? The book was about searching for a hidden treasure. That was the point of the book. The book was about searching for a hidden treasure. In the future, I look forward to meeting you. Okay, I look forward to, that's expect for the future. So I look forward to meeting you. So in general, remember, when you have a preposition, immediately after the preposition, you use a gerund or a noun. Remember that a gerund is a noun, so it's in the same category. For example, in these cases, okay, I think about reading more books. Okay, with my friends, we normally talk about traveling to other countries. Some people are worried about getting sick. In some cases, you can also use it, as these expressions say, you can use it with an adjective and a preposition. These are just common phrases, but remember, maybe there are more, because probably there are. Okay, I am bored of staying at home all day. And some people are concerned with controlling the liberties of people, for example. And a special case here is the preposition to. Probably you have seen before that normally after the preposition to, you use the verb in base form. That is an infinitive. Okay, I am going to probably link you to the video of infinitives when I make one. Remember that generally infinitives are like this. You use the preposition to and the verb in base form. And some expressions, for example, this expression, I used to. I used to go to the mall. I am going to travel to another country. So usually the preposition to goes with the verb in base form, not with a gerund. But there are some expressions that use gerunds. Okay, all the prepositions work with gerunds. The only exception is the preposition to, because there are some cases where you use base form and in some cases where you use gerunds. But remember that in this case, to is the minority of cases are going to use gerunds. Okay, so I look forward to meeting you. I object to listening to you. I am used to, or I got used to staying at home for a long time. I am devoted to studying English. But any other situation that is not in this list, please remember to use the verb in base form with to. Okay, only the preposition to is special. Other cases, the other prepositions are normal. Okay, just preposition, gerund, immediately. The only special case is the preposition to. Only for these expressions, use gerund. Any other situation, please use the verb in base form. Okay, don't forget to use the verb in base form. So that's essentially what we have. Okay, remember, gerunds are when we talk about concepts or actions as a noun. Okay, and you can see here that we can use the gerund in different positions. We can use the gerund as a complement of the subject. We can use it as the subject. We can use it as the direct object. It can also be used as indirect object. I worry about singing well. So in this case, this is the object of a preposition. But you may be wondering, teacher, what is the point of learning these different things of using gerunds? Well, gerunds are very common, especially when you talk about situations or concepts, not about people. A lot of the times we talk about people and we go to the mall. But in this case, remember, you're talking about the activity, the concept of the verb. Singing is my favorite activity. Listening to music is one of my hobbies. Now you probably say, teacher, but I can write that idea in a different way. I can say, well, we should help people in need because it is important. That's okay, but remember, there is a principle of sentence variety. That means that you can express the same idea with different words. So for example, in this case, these 4 sentences are the same. We should help people in need because it is important. It's the same as if I say, it is important to help people in need. You see, both of them are similar. Helping people in need is important. So you see, it's the same idea, but you're using different words. We believe in the importance of helping people in need. All of these sentences here express the same idea or an idea that is very similar. But the difference is that you're showing that you have the ability to express the same idea in different ways. Okay, especially for more complex writing tasks that you encounter in the future, remember to try to use different structures. Okay, for example, we can say that we should help people in need because it is important. This is the classical structure of subject, verb, object. But remember that you have other tools at your disposal to use. For example, you can say it is important to help people in need. This is a very common structure. It is adjective, infinitive. It is important to help people in need. And now you have new ways to say the same ideas. You can use gerunds. You can say helping people in need is important. In this case, you're using a gerund phrase as the subject. Helping people in need. That's the gerund phrase. We believe in the importance of helping people in need. You see? We believe in, and as I told you before, you can use nouns. The importance. That's the importance. Preposition, noun phrase. We believe in the importance of helping people in need. Of helping people in need. In this case, it's a preposition followed by a gerund. In this case, this is a gerund phrase. So you see, the point of using gerunds is now that you have the ability to use more than just the common expression of subject, verb, object. Now you can use different ways to say the same ideas. Okay? And remember, we use gerunds to talk about the activity. Okay? We use gerunds to talk about activities. Okay? The concept of the activity. Not that you are doing the activity. You're talking about the activity in these cases. And remember, please don't confuse gerunds with the present continuous or any continuous tense. Just because you're using the ing form doesn't mean that this is the present continuous. Remember, gerunds are situations where we are talking about the activity. My favorite activity is singing. In this case, I am describing the activity. I am not doing the activity. The present continuous is an activity that you're actually doing in this moment. For example, I am singing in this moment. That's different. In this moment, I am doing the action. I am not describing the action. Okay, so remember that, please. Gerunds are when you talk about the activity. And the present continuous is when you do the activity. Okay, don't confuse those two things. And that's it for now. So please remember, wash your hands. That's very important nowadays. Don't forget, please, to study. Okay, take care of yourselves. And please don't forget to give a like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Okay, so that will be it for now. See you soon. Bye bye.